picture text, page 27. So this particular homage and praise to the incomparable king of the Śākyas, guru of wandering beings, in other words, praise and offering verses to Buddha Shakyamuni, was composed by Kyobpa Sumgen, the founder of Drigung Kagyu. So often these prayers, these verses of homage, you could say, their form is obviously a religious form, devotional form. Yes, of course, devotion, especially in the Kagyu lineage, is often praised as the single most important quality of heart, quality of mind, for realizing nature of mind. In fact, it's not intelligence. It's not a very sharp intellect. It's not a very polished kind of debating mind, but rather devotion is said to be it. But of course, it's also a mistake to think we are speaking of devotion, or we are speaking of homage or praise in the theistic sense, meaning that we are thinking that there is someone out there, some powerful being out there, some powerful entity out there that is going to save us, that is going to take us out of confusion, that we are supposed to please, and then they set us free. And so that's not the position here. That's not the understanding here. So yes, on the one hand, these verses, these offering praises, are designed to instill devotion in this Buddha or that Buddha, or this great master or that. But also as important, and maybe even more importantly, the words that are used to describe them, to praise them, are describing qualities that you are then to recognize and to admire. To recognize and to admire, and to desire to possess them yourself. So you recognize them in the person of, in this case, Buddha Shakyamuni, his qualities, his abilities, and you recognize that, and then you give rise to admiration, and you give rise to a desire to possess those qualities. That's often how devotion or mogu is explained. Yeah? So let's look at this praise on page 27. Jeff has been unmuted. Jeff. So 27 it says, Guru of wandering beings, Dharma Lord and Teacher, who first generated the mind of supreme awakening. So the first generated this supreme bodhicitta. And by gathering the accumulations of inconceivable eons, found the equanimous state of awakening. To you we pay homage. And so first identifying Buddha Shakyamuni as Dharma Lord, as teacher and guide of wandering beings, and as teacher. As I said, this term teacher, tumpa, it's a guide or teacher. This is, in the context of Buddha Dharma, this is really the highest term you can use to describe anyone. Just as in a Christian context, Savior is the highest term they can use to describe anyone. And then in the Muslim tradition, Prophet is the highest word. In our context, Savior don't make much sense. Prophet don't make much sense. And then even the more specific Messiah don't deliver, don't make much sense. Teacher. And by understanding that this word teacher or guide is the highest term, it also indicates to us what is the problem and what is the solution. The problem is a self-created problem. The solution is also has to be solved by yourself. And what is the problem? The problem is we are wandering in the dark. So the guide, the guru of wandering beings, the Lord of Dharma as in he has gained complete lordship, right? He has gained freedom with regards to phenomena, seeing phenomena as they are and capable of formulating what he has seen and teaching to others and guiding others. How did this teacher get to this point? By first generating bodhicitta. Following generating bodhicitta, the two accumulations was what he practiced for many, many lifetimes, for inconceivable eons. The accumulation of wisdom or insight and the accumulation of merit being the two accumulations. And finally he arrived at the equanimous state of Buddhahood, of awakening. So to you, we pay homage. Inseparable throughout the three times, meaning past, present, and future. Inseparable from what? Inseparable from the wheel of inexhaustible, exalted body, speech, and mind in the three times. Never parting even for an instant from this inseparability. You ripen all wandering beings. To you we pay homage. And so his exalted body, speech, and mind is the inexhaustible wheel. And wheel, when we are not Buddhists, the wheel is the wheel of samsara. When we are Buddhists, this wheel, so this wheel has a connotation of, it keeps turning. Right? Once set in motion, it keeps going. In that sense, it's inexhaustible. It continues. Yeah? What else can we understand about a wheel rolling along? Yeah, that's accounted for, but what else? It keeps going, inexhaustible, yes.
But nothing changes as far as samsara is concerned?
It changes, actually. It's only permanent in the sense that it keeps going. But it's also what? Speeding up, maybe, sometimes. Sometimes slowing down, maybe. No, it's more mathematical or more.
Goes up and down.
Spinning out.
Say that again?
Spinning out.
No. Very specific, something I'm looking at. A line, a circle. No, at any point, what?
Oh, it's only
Momentary. It's momentary. So its momentariness remains, but it keeps going. So it's not permanent in that sense, you know.
Say, it's momentary, but it remains, is that, what did you say?
Yeah. Because it keeps going.
Oh, the wheel remains.
Yeah. But at any point, it's only one moment. So the momentary nature of samsara remains true. But it's endless. When enlightened, the momentariness remains, but
Better see.
it's exalted body, speech, and mind throughout the three times, past, present, and future. You have abandoned all faults and accomplished all qualities. So all faults have been abandoned, all qualities have been accomplished. So this is sometimes also the meaning of the Tibetan word for Buddha is Sangye. Sang is to clear, to have cleared all faults. Kyobpa is to expand. Here, accomplish. Expand and accomplish all the innate qualities. Your victorious form, free from faults and replete with utterly perfect qualities, is the treasury of all good qualities in samsara and nirvana, with nothing lacking. Inexhaustible sky treasury, to you we pay homage. In Indian mythology, there is a treasury in the sky that if you can access this treasury, what you need and what you want can all be found in this treasury, and it's inexhaustible. So Buddhas, not just Buddha Shakyamuni, anyone who is awakened as a Buddha becomes this inexhaustible sky treasury. It's a treasury of good qualities in all of samsara and nirvana. You are king of the Śākyas beyond elaborations of coming or going, with a naturally accomplished exalted form that is innately birthless. And primordially means innately. It's always been so, in other words. So if that form is primordially birthless, innately birthless, that means right now this form is the opposite. You, O sage, are completely beyond birth and cessation. Utterly pure nature itself, to you we pay homage. You continuously teach the truth of the inseparable two truths. So in Buddhism, we talk about the two truths, the ultimate truth and the relative truth. Ultimate truth and relative truth, their relationship is not two truths whereby the relative is not as good as the ultimate. Relative and ultimate are related to essence and appearance. What is the essence? The essence is emptiness. That is the ultimate truth. And the ultimate reality of all that exists. Then there is the appearance aspect of that. The appearance aspect, meaning how things then appear. They appear through the principle of causality. cause and effect. So these two are not opposed. They are the inseparable two truths. Emptiness and cause and effect do not cancel each other out. They do not fight with each other. Because things are empty of essence, and therefore they can arise accordingly. And they do not arise haphazardly. They arise according to the principle of causality. So you continuously teach this truth and destroy the heaps of unknowing's darkness. Mandala of the sun, teacher with twofold benefit, meaning ability to benefit self and to benefit others. Illuminator perfect in qualities, to you we pay homage. Since you have mastered the sky treasury of great loving kindness, with your precious teachings, O sage, you fulfill the hopes and wishes of wandering beings. Teacher with unsurpassed skillful means, to you we pay homage. So actually, the greatest thing the Buddha can give us are the teachings. But of course, we go to the Buddha and say, oh, please, can you please, help to reduce this pain I have? Oh, can you please find me a job? Oh, can you please dispel obstacles? Can you please, 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 please? Maybe Buddhas can do all those things. Who knows? Sometimes, of course, they are described as having all kinds of powers. But even when they are described as having all sorts of powers that can move mountains, that can, traditional accounts, fire shoot out of their ear and water shoot out of their eyes. This is known as the twin miracle. In the oldest sources, it already talks about how the Buddha performed the twin miracles at this one place in India. And it says that he rose up into the sky and then fire shot out of his ears and water shot out of his eyes. But the whole point to all those things is to say, but even better than all of that is his ability to show us how to get out of the mess that we got ourselves into. In fact, these magic powers, right, that often is said that the Buddhas have, and in these prayers, sometimes head of our order, His Holiness Drigong Kyobpa, I've heard him, said, he's like, sometimes, these things, he says, is the result of Hindus and Buddhists trying to outdo each other, Oh, your God can do that? Well, my God can do this. Well, your God can do that? Well, my God can do this. And so it just, gets exaggerated to no end, And it's okay, if we understand this as poetic language. And even like all these magical powers, right? They pale, that's the point. They pale in comparison to the main thing that Buddhas can do for us. They know how to really skillfully point to us. That is the fault that you need to remove. So they expose these faults. But actually, we often don't want these faults to be exposed. Or maybe you say, well, only by a Buddha. If anyone else exposes my faults, I think they don't like me, so I don't like them, blah, blah, blah. Right? Even with our human teachers, if they expose our faults, we feel so offended, But that's what they're supposed to do, right? You want other things? Go look for others to give you those things. Right? So don't turn the Buddha into a magical plumber. Meaning, yes, of course, plumbing issues are very real issues, but don't waste their time, asking them to plumb your plumbing problems. But with the sky treasury of great loving kindness, then they instruct. Yeah? Then others, the human teachers that, kind of act as proxy for Buddha Shakyamuni. In many of these texts, like the Jewel Ornament of Liberation, as for example, it says that they need to have some basic qualities. One, right? They need to know more than you on the topic of Dharma. Two, they need to have your best interests at heart. These two. Then some other qualities also mentioned. They should not be so occupied with matters of samsara. If they are busy with samsara, and more busy than you are with samsara, then don't follow such teachers. It's all relative, right? So if there are others who are even more busy, then maybe those teachers are good for them. You know what I'm saying? So you also need to find in one quotation from the Buddha, it says, if you associate with those, and here associate is talking about more like, teachers, guides, spiritual guides. It says, if you associate with those who have less qualities than you, then the direction you're going is downwards. If you associate with those who have equal with you, then you are just staying where you are. But if you associate with those who are excellent, you become excellent. So it says, choose carefully. With, again, Buddha Shakyamuni as the example, as the reference point. So that's why in this practice, we meditate on ourselves as Buddha Shakyamuni. In doing that, of course, the general reason and purposes of Idam practice is the main reason, and there's a lot to learn in that area. But by specifically, meditating on ourselves as Buddha Shakyamuni, we create this interdependence that is necessary for two things, right? In a way, for two things. One, in this day and time, it's not so easy to find guides that have the qualities of Buddha Shakyamuni. The same qualities as Buddha Shakyamuni. But you still pray. And pray means, make aspirations. May I meet such teachers. So that's one problem. The problem is they are so rare. Even in Buddha Shakyamuni's time, it's also rare. In fact, we say there was only one. Right? But other ordinary individuals, ordinary beings, not like the Buddha, even ordinary individuals having those basic qualities may be hard to find. So that's one problem. Second problem, they are there, you can't see them. That's the second problem. So even if you are with someone like that, You can't see them. So that's the other problem you also need to remove. So two problems: not actually meeting anyone with those qualities, or some of the qualities of Buddha Shakyamuni, more than what you have, right? First problem. Second problem, you meet them, you are actually in their presence, but you have no ability to see that. Then it's also not very helpful. So by cultivating yourself, taking on the identity of Buddha Shakyamuni, you create those causes and conditions to overcome these two obstacles.
You can't see what you don't have yourself, can you?
Yes,
Well, in seeing ourselves as Shakyamuni, we have those qualities. And therefore, we can recognize those qualities in someone else.
Yes. And yes, of course. It's sort of chicken and egg, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So you have to work both ways. Yeah, you don't have access to the CD, that is in your name. You know it's there. And there's no option of withdrawing with penalty even. So you need to work on speeding up the maturity of that CD. So you have, but you don't have access yet. Yeah? So you need to access those qualities. And so again, by looking at Buddha Shakyamuni's example, that's the best reference point, and through the basic, like sutras, the early sutras especially, you can see the profile of this person, how he acts, how he behaves, how he interacts, Nothing too bombastic actually, but wise and kind, relatable as well as inspiring. And so we focus on Buddha Shakyamuni to create those interdependencies for the arising of the same qualities in ourselves. So anyway, as you all know, I was away for just a few days, and a few very busy days. This time was particularly, travel was particularly testing. On the way there, I got stuck in the transit airport and got delayed for one night. On the way coming back, I got stuck in another transit airport and delayed by another night. The airlines certainly don't make it easier. And then I got in. Then my bag was not here, was missing. So on and so forth. But time in Guatemala was very good. Center now has new space. The next step in their growth. But Guatemala City is very challenging in terms of traffic. So you guys in Asheville, oh, traffic, I can't come. You have no idea. Guatemala City is like, ooh, traffic. But I like this new space. We bless, and something changes not only with when we practice someplace, you know. Like it's said that everything in this space is blessed by your practice. The floor, the ceiling, the tables, the chairs, the walls, everything here is being blessed by our practice. And so then this becomes a sacred site. And sacred sites have the power to affect others. And so when other people come in, you know, they receive the results of your practice. So wherever you are, your Dharma center, if you want to find fault, you can always find fault. No matter what. Even Buddha Shakyamuni, people found fault with him. But in the end, whose loss is that? Your loss, you know. Of course, you know, I'm not talking about like clearly abusive, egregious things that unfortunately also happens at Dharma centers. But I have not, you know, been to Dharma centers myself who are in that situation. Barring the clearly like some intervention needs to happen to put a stop to nonsense. You know, I'm saying run-of-the-mill Dharma centers, you know, yeah, always there are some things you like, some things you don't like, some people you like, some people you don't like, you know. Don't let the liking and disliking, you know, this is what Dharma practice is all about. We talk about beyond liking and disliking, such lofty ideas, and then we cannot apply it, you know. Even at the Dharma center, you can apply it. Then how are you supposed to apply it at your workplace? How are you supposed to apply it at the grocery store? How are you supposed to apply at the airport? If at the Dharma center, the very place that you're receiving these teachings, you cannot apply, then it's hopeless, right? So please, again and again, you know, I say, go to your Dharma centers. As to how involved you get, yes, maybe too much drama, don't get that involved. But when there is practice, go there and practice. Then quickly leave and run away if you feel that there's too much stuff going on, right? But if you have more capacity, you can actually change the things that you see as a problem, right? Why? For the sake of others who walk in there. Your practice blesses the place. Jigdan Sumgan was asked, you know, these sacred sites, there's a famous list of like Vajrayana sacred sites, you know, 24, 32, the 8 great cemeteries and all of that. He says, someone asked him, you know, are these places special because they are special out there? Or are they special because of the people who go there and rely on those places for practice? His answer is both. He says, in the first place, how did you think those places became such powerful places? Because of the individuals who went there to practice. And the individuals who now go there to practice will be influenced by the power imbued in that place by those in the past. And so then it keeps, you know, building. That's how it's imbued with blessings. That's how objects are imbued with blessings. Sometimes people laugh, you know. People who don't understand like these sacred images, they're like, hey, didn't you make it? Didn't somebody make it, you know? Especially other, you know, growing up in Malaysia, the evangelicals will point out, you know, like, they're worshipping these statues that they made themselves. And we're like, yeah, of course. It's precisely And not just that we made, but what we project. Because everything is what we project. What we call reality is the momentary projections of our mind arising from moment to moment to moment. So if we see the reason that we are at a Dharma center practicing beyond, what am I going to get out of it? What am I going to get out of it? If it's all just based on what are you going to get out of it, then it's always going to be ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs. Because every time you see the people that you like, you're like, oh, up now. Then you see the people you don't like, oh, down now. Then the people that you like are mysteriously not really smiling at you today, oh, now down. Then it's all up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Then the heart, the mind cannot become steady. That was the point. Again, if you go there with bodhicitta, then your practice seeps into the wall, seeps into the curtain, seeps into the plant. And when others see, hear, touch, taste, smell, anything in that space, something will change. Something will change. They have been touched by your virtuous practice. So please, make an effort. Make an effort. Don't have some Buddha, tell some Jataka tales in the future about how you did not progress because traffic was bad. What a terrible Jataka tale, Oh, he didn't like bad traffic, so then Buddhahood got delayed for 3 eons. Talk about delays and getting stuck at random airports, So, make the effort. Also, don't force. I'm not talking about that. Force, then you have so much resentment. Do it with understanding. So start working on your understanding. Yeah, don't force. I don't believe in forcing yourself. Work in changing your understanding. Then everything becomes easier. Beyond this topic of, Dharma Center. Then everything becomes easier when you change your understanding. This is what wisdom is. This is what insight is, Change. Develop insight, develop understanding. And then it's a lot easier to do the things that you know is good to do, is worth doing. Finally, always remember impermanence. When you truly understand impermanence, then you can see how short our time is here. And given how short the time we have here, is it worth spent fighting with anyone? Is it worth being right? We have such a short time here. And especially we have such a short time here with each other. Don't fight. Such a complete waste of time. Don't invest your energy into fighting, into conflict. Every time you feel like, well, why have been wrong? Think, When have the rights and wrongs ever been completely settled? Never settled that way. Can only be settled by you deciding. Really, you deciding from inside. Again, not like you're being heroic, not that you want to be a savior, not that you want to self-sacrifice, all those things. They are just forms of self-grasping also. But when you understand, it's the wisest thing to do for your own sake, you know. For your own sake, it's the wisest thing to do. Stop. No more fighting. No more fighting with the world. Because we have such a short time here. What are we going to do with it? Right? The most absurd thing is to fight with the people around us. Fight with family. Fight with friends. That's the most absurd things. Fight in the Dharma Center also. Completely pointless. So every time you feel like you need to settle a score, you know, think intelligently. Think wisely, you know. Is this worth it? It's not worth it. There is happiness to be experienced here. It's not by settling scores. It's not. Right? First of all, it's being comfortable in your own skin. Don't look for others to fulfill you. Don't try to influence others into becoming nice to you. And don't act like that. And that's all just, you know, ways the ego, if you want to use that term, which I don't like using, but ways the ego kind of manipulates situations. Leave that alone. Leave that alone.